Hello and welcome to this 10th Advanced BlitzPlus tutorial by Orange Moon Network. In this tutorial I'll be showing you how to add weapons into the game, and in this case we will be adding arrows. But first of all we're going to add some new features to the game. So if you've missed the previous tutorials, go back and check them out. The game's looking much more like a real RPG. We've got enemies, we've got a map, and we've got our character. Although my character could be a bit better, but that's just my drawing. Anyway, so first what we're going to add is we'll put it in the character section. We'll add some variables. We'll add one for the current level which you're playing, and we'll say that's 1. So when we introduce more levels, then you can progress through. And we'll have one for the score, and you start off on 0. We'll have some information about your health, and I'll say for my game you start on 3 lives, you can have whatever you want. And also ammo, I'd say 25 lives. And to get more health and ammo in the game, you could add items. And so after you've followed all these tutorials, you should be able to figure out how to make it so you can draw and add an item on the map, and then when you touch it the item disappears, and then you get health or ammo. And you should be able to figure that out once I've explained to you how to do various things which I'll be teaching you today, such as detecting if objects are colliding and deleting types. Okay, so we'll just put it in the main loop. We'll add the text for telling you what level you are and things like that. So you type text, which is the command, 0, 0, so top left we're going to say comma, then level, and then I'll put colon space, end the quotation mark, and then do plus, then the variable level, and then I'll do the same but just beneath that. So at 10 it'll say score plus score, and then I'll leave a gap and then give the health and the ammo. So I'll say what health you are at 30 on the y-axis, and then finally your ammunition. Or you could say the number of arrows. Let's save that and run it. And as you can see here, it tells you your level, your score, your health and your ammo, and it stays on the top left of the screen. Now, to add the arrows into the game, because it's an arrow, it's not just a bullet, it can be going in various directions. So the best way I've found to do this in the game is to create another animimage with 4 frames of the different directions. And it's best if it's the same size as the character, so then you can know where the arrow would fit in to where he's holding the bow. So let's draw the red box again around the frame so you know how big it should be. So this is currently the character, so I'll just save that and call it arrow. And now all you need to do is to create 4 frames, so let's do that now. And they're going to be for the 4 different directions, and so if you select the other directions, and we'll just Control X and Control paste that there. This one can go here, and finally I'll use the very bottom right one for the stationary position, and that can go here. So now I'll just draw the boxes back around them in the red. So now we've got 4 frames for the different positions. We can straighten the image down to just these 4 frames and save it. So the only reason I got the characters here is for a reference point. We're not going to leave them there, it's just so when we draw the arrows we can remove them afterwards. So I think when you're firing upwards you would have the arrow come from here, and then I'll just draw my arrow like this. You don't have to have an arrow, you can have whatever you want. It's fully customizable, just as long as you think you know what you're doing. So go ahead and draw all the different arrows like this, and once you're done you can just erase the characters themselves like this. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, on paint if you right click on a colour then it becomes the background colour, and then if you're painting and you hold right click it'll draw the background colour. So that's what I've been doing for quite a while, if you didn't understand what I was doing. Okay, so I've got my 4 different frames of the arrow, so just pause the video and finish yours. And now we can go into Blitz and we'll add a new section for the weapons, and we'll use commenting with the semicolons like we've done before. Okay. So now we're going to load in the animimage as we've done before, so we'll call it arrow, then we'll load animimage arrow.bmp, and then depending on what your width and height of each frame is, you will put those numbers next. So mine's 24 by 38, and then do comma 0 and then comma 4 because we've got 4 frames. And for the arrows, like we did for the enemies, we'll make them a type as well. So we'll say type and we'll call it arrow. And the fields for this will be the X position, the Y position, these are floats as well with a hash, and again we'll have X offset so we can make the arrows move of their own accord, and Y offset, and then also we'll have the direction in which they're going so we know which frame to use. So that's the type created. Now we can go and create a new function, and I'll put it after the enemy and I'll call it F arrows. And let's go to F enemy here and we'll create a new function underneath it called F arrows. Function F arrows double brackets end function. Okay. So in this function we'll start off by detecting if you press the button which fires an arrow, and I'm going to be using the space bar. You can use whichever key you want, just go on here and click a key and it'll give you a number. The code for space bar is 57, or if you want to do enter then it's 28, but I'll be using 57. So I'll say if key hit, and then 57. And another thing that we need to make sure is that you've got more than no ammo. So if ammo is bigger than 0, because you're not going to be able to fire if you've not got any ammo left. And in here we're going to say weapon.arrow. So as we did before, we did enemy.spider, and we gave spider part of the group enemy. We'll make weapon arrow part of the group weapon. Okay, so we'll say weapon.arrow equals new arrow, and then we'll set the X position to the character X position because the arrow comes from the character, and we set it up so it'll look like it's coming out of the bow. And the weapon Y position will equal character Y, and then we can set the direction to equal dir, and that's why the variable we created before is also useful, because we had it set to when he's walking we set the direction as a different number. That was also for animating him, but it also comes in useful when we're firing these arrows. And obviously once he's fired the arrow we're going to say ammo equals ammo minus 1, so he loses 1 ammunition when he's fired a bullet. And now we can control all of the individual arrows with a for loop like we did for the enemies as well. So we say for weapon.arrow equals each arrow, so it loops through each arrow that's currently still there. And now we're going to see which direction it's going to depend which frame we draw. So we'll select the direction and that select, and there's 4 possibilities. There's case 1, case 2, case 3 and case 4. So let's start off with case 1. What we're going to do is we're going to draw the image of the arrow. I'm going to draw it at the weapon X position, weapon Y position, and then we're going to do this for frame 0, because this is the one where it's moving upwards, and by default the first one is called frame 0. So because it's moving upwards, we'll say the Y position equals its Y position minus 2, so it'll be moving upwards. And now we can just copy this for all of the other ones and just modify them all slightly. So if it's 2, then we're going to draw the first frame and it's going to be moving downwards, as you can see here, and then for the other ones it'll be moving on the x-axis, left and then right. So left's minus 2, right's plus 2, and we're using the frames 2 and 3. Okay, so now if we save this, make sure this file's saved in the same folder as the Blitz file, and now let's run it. Okay, so let's try. I press space, and there you go, it fires an arrow, and you can see here, every time I fire, the ammo goes down by 1. And now that that's working, I can fill these borders in black, save that, and then now you'll see it fires arrows out of where the bow is. Now obviously he's not like doing any motion to fire the bow, so if you wanted to you could try using animimage to make him look like he's firing the bow, but I'm okay with this. And now all we need to do is make it so when the arrow hits an enemy you gain some points and the enemy gets destroyed. And that's what I'll be doing in the next tutorial. So thanks for watching, remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I hope you find this useful.